Hey there, guys. So, yeah, another day done and dusted. And just stitched together a few clips that have come up over the last, week. Some are a little bit longer. And it was just, in relation to a video that I saw, not too long ago. It just said kids need dads, not iPads. And it was sort of like a topic that, resonated a little bit, but ties in well with, what I do in, training in the garage gym. So, in that regard, I'm just trying to be present in their everyday lives and just set a good example. A lot of people these days, when it comes to just training or being in shape or just anything in that regard, they just don't seem to do it. It's just really has hit a point in today's society where a lot of people just give up on anything that's hard, especially when it comes to physical exercise or trying to get in shape. And if you're one of those few people that do get in shape and you look after yourself, you're going to obviously stand out compared to a lot of the other parents that have kids. Um, and a lot of people complain, they don't have time and things like that. A lot of it just comes down to, your time management and just being able to think ahead. With, being able to think ahead is the big one. A lot of people, when they say that they don't have time, it's also they just lack energy, and it's just easier for them to say, I don't have time, as opposed to, oh, I was too tired or anything else, that is an excuse in that regard. So, for me, Mondays and Wednesdays, they're my big, days in terms of work. Like, I start work at 7, finish at 4, come home, get home by about 4:30ish, spend about an hour at home, then 5:30, I'm off again because I'm going and coaching. But when I coach, I also train as well. Then I don't get home till probably 8:30 at night, so it's just a long day, and I don't get to see my kids, too much on a Monday or a Wednesday. Then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm at home. Like, I finish work, I get home at 4:30. The kids are home. I'm not going to gym. I still need to train, but I'll train with them at home. I make them lighter training sessions. A lot of the time, it's just simple things like just get my conditioning work in. So it could be sledgehammer hits on the tire, a whole lot of push-ups. Work your way up to a set of 50 for push-ups, and you're definitely going to feel it, and it's good conditioning work. I then play around with some overhead press that can take the form of, the one arm dumbbell shoulder press or the, one arm stone press. Sometimes I'll press like a really heavy log overhead. Other times I'm pressing one of the bigger stones overhead. But there's always something to do. A lot of the time, Tuesday and Thursday, I feel pretty tired just simply because of work. But I'm not going to make an excuse, because at the end of the day, I'm also trying to set an example. Like, training in general should just be a normal part of life. Going inside and sitting and watching a TV for a few hours, I mean, yeah, that's theoretically normal in today's day and age. But you go back, throughout history, that wasn't normal. You finish work and then you'd be, either spending time with your family, or you'd be, entertaining yourself in some other manner, whether it be a hobby or training, or something like that. But sitting around and doing absolutely nothing, no, that doesn't really sit well with me. Um, and yeah, that's just not who I am. That's not the example that I'm trying to set. For me, for them, I just want them to enjoy training as a whole, and for them to see it as completely normal. And another thing that kids pick up on, and you may not be too aware of it, is just simply how you eat in your diet. If you're setting an example by just eating clean, and having a lot of homemade meals, they're going to see that as the normal. And then, on the weekend, that's when you can have your takeaway, go out to a restaurant, enjoy. But if you're in the habit of creating, your meals, them seeing that you actually cook, what to buy, they just learn so many things through observation, and that is going to make a massive impact on their health later on, just because they know, what to make, what I should sort of eat within reason, what, mum and dad classed as junk. It gives them a baseline for establishing what is normal. There's a lot of people, especially some of the younger people I coach in their 20s and more so early 20s, and their diet's just terrible. And that's one of the biggest factors, in terms of their poor performance and poor health, and just simply not knowing what to eat, just because it's just so poor, and their parents have never really been, ones to muck around in the kitchen and cook anything. For me, I love cooking roasts and things like that. I'm really good at doing that, cooking anything in a fry pan, from stir fries to, steak, lamb chops, any of those easy sort of meals. But then, you serve them up with some of the vegetables that you've steamed and things like that, and you're putting together like quality meals. As I said, the roast is something that I like doing. We probably have a roast at least twice a week. It's easy. It's quality meat. I throw all the vegetables in as well. And yeah, I don't really have to try too hard. Um, so that's sort of, what I'm doing at the moment. And then for them, just in terms of training, obviously I make sure they don't pick up anything too heavy. And I just go over the technique from time to time just so that, they get a general idea of how to move, with weight or how to do certain things. The littlest one, he's 2, so, it's going to be too hard to explain anything. The best thing that I can sort of do is just not let him pick up anything too heavy. But the older one who's 7, I can go through certain things. Oh, you need to do this with your knees or do this with your stance. And it's just, creating base movement patterns in order for them to be successful. And, if they see this as normal and they're getting, results and just improving in general, when they go to school and they're just playing everyday sort of sport or mucking around with their friends, when they're fitter, faster, and stronger, they're obviously going to be better, but they're going to enjoy it more, and they're just going to get confidence in that regard. Every kid sort of wants to be the fastest kid, and you're giving them the tools and the building blocks in order to succeed. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm doing at this point in time, and just trying to be present. Obviously, later in the year, I'll be moving house again. Hopefully, be able to set up the garage gym, and then hopefully that means I can sort of get away from Wednesday night coaching, or coach a few of the people at home instead, and make it more like a group session in that regard. But it just means the kids are around. I don't have to waste time traveling. Means it's also a little bit easier on me as well, and the content that I can then put out as well in terms of training and helping you guys will be better again. But at this point in time, I'm just trying to get done what I can do. The equipment where I am at the moment is pretty limited, but it gets the job done. As I said, the Olympic spin lock dumbbells for me, they're a great tool. Just mucking around with the stones, really, really enjoy that. And you can press them overhead, you can squat them, you can do rows with them. You can do carries with them. You can do stone over yoke if you build a frame. You can do stone to shoulder. There's heaps of things in that regard that you can do that are going to be functional, but also get a workout in. So yeah, that's sort of just what I'm doing at the moment. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, have a great day wherever you are.